Hey there, you're listening to the Group X podcast with Tony Zanato. Today I'm talking with Matt George, Director of Summit Sport and Fitness Centre in Lismore and the Director of XBODY Australia. We chat about how he got into fitness, accidentally buying a sports centre, indoor cycling in Germany, opening Group FX boutique in Lismore, XBODY Australia, what it is and how it works, what the future of our industry might look like, and all things Group X. Matt, thank you so much for joining me on the show, Matt. I appreciate your time.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, Tony.
Cool. Hey, tell us, where did your journey begin? How did you get into the fitness industry? Where did it all start?
I guess I came over from the aquatic industry, actually. I accidentally started a swim school and had 10 employees at university. And then I, at 24 years of age, accidentally bought a sports centre and knew I could run a swim school, but I had absolutely no idea about fitness.
Awesome.
So I've always been a bit in the yes game. I'm a believer in saying yes and working out the rest later. So it was 2002. I bought an old squash centre in Lismore in northern New South Wales.
Yeah.
I knew I had 400 kids and a swim school to walk in there, but I had no idea about fitness whatsoever. By chance, we bought what was a figure-shaping salon, a women's figure-shaping salon called Rosemary, and we put that in, and I moved straight to Sydney from Lismore and got into the fitness industry down there and learnt from plenty of great people in the industry. Yeah. I thought I've got to learn about this fitness stuff. So went to Sydney, worked for, I think it was InShape in Willoughby. Yep. And went through some fantastic stuff like, impact sales training with Steve Jensen and lots of great stuff that set me up for success. I learned a lot from that club and those couple of years in Sydney. And then I've basically came back to apply it all. So, I've been around since 2002 in fitness and I've learnt as I'm going along the journey.
That's brilliant. Just go back to InShape for me, Willoughby. How long were you there for and when were you there? I'm just trying to work out whether we could have been potentially teaching there at the same time. Without even knowing.
Was there in 03. It was 03 into 04.
Okay, because I started my journey in July of 04 is when I started, and shortly after I was teaching RPM classes in InShape in there at the Willoughby Leisure Centre.
As well.
Yeah, Willoughby Leisure Centre. Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings at 9:15 or 9:30 or whatever time it was back then.
There you go.
I wonder if our paths had actually crossed before we'd even known.
Well, I wasn't even in group fitness. I was next to that fishbowl of a spin studio, I started with sales. And look, I thought that was a great place to cut my teeth.
Yep.
But I was probably sitting next to your spin studio was aspiring to become a group fitness instructor.
Love it.
Which I did a little bit later down the track.
Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah. No, it was a great experience. Experience.
So that happened 2003, 2004. Going back to what happened after that when you come back.
So I basically bought a centre in late 02. Yep. Came to Sydney for a couple of years, learnt the trade, and moved back to the northern rivers of New South Wales to apply it. And it's been great. So we've always had a successful swim school. We had a women's only gym, which tied in beautifully with the swim school. Yep. The mums would come and put their kids in lessons and then do a bit of a workout. And we then really focused on building group fitness as the heart and soul of our club. It's where the women, the members would love to come together and catch up afterwards. And just we, I guess, accidentally created this fantastic environment here.
Awesome. A great culture.
Yeah. It was really cool. So, that was me. That's where I started. I also got, the taste of being an entrepreneur and had an inkling. I opened another gym in 05, which we successfully run in the Lismore CBD, a mixed gym. Yep. We also had group fitness offerings at both clubs. we were offering up to, at our peak, about 70 classes a week at Summit.
Nice.
And probably about 30 classes a week at what was Futura at the time.
Okay. And that was down in town in Lismore.
So that was my first gym downtown in the Lismore RSL.
Yep.
The old Lismore RSL.
Yep.
I built that up and sold it. And I went back there again a few years later with a different idea. And I remember meeting you in the auditorium at the time. And so I went back with a different idea to fill this auditorium with group fitness.
Yep.
We had some great instructors. We were really keen. And so that was 2012, we opened a separate group fitness business standalone.
Yep.
No gym floor, just Group X.
Just Group X,
and it was group, and the name was Group FX.
Yep.
So it was
right.
It was great. It was a really, I think it was a really great idea, but perhaps had the wrong timing.
Yep.
I'll dive into that in a little bit. But I do remember standing in that room chatting to you in about 2012, and I said, listen, I've got this idea that, we'll do these group fitness classes, but I want to broadcast it online. I want to put these classes out there, and I'm thinking about running these live classes. We need good internet, which we don't have, but once the internet improves, we'll be able to run these things called online classes.
Yep. And
I remember you're a bit amazed with the
forward thinking
of the idea.
Back then it would have been a thing for anybody back in 2012 going, look, I think it's got legs, but oh wow, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
but no internet speed.
Yeah. But the thing that I do remember about that place is the sound system you put in there was phenomenal. It was massive, but it was just oh God, yes.
It was crispy.
Yes.
Yeah, I had. I do love sound, and I did set up. That was a big auditorium. I think it was about 2,000 square meters, and I could have hosted a rock concert in there with that sound system.
Yeah, it was superb.
Had those line array speakers, which made it nice and clear from the back to the front. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Wow. So what happened after Group FX? Because from memory, I think you went overseas for a little bit.
Well, yeah, and I guess that's why I say it was a great idea at the wrong time. You cannot start a business and move overseas. It doesn't work. So. Look, it did okay, but we decided after running it, and it struggled for about 3 years, that we did end up just canning that at the time because it was stretching the team too thin between a couple of gyms, and we just decided to focus on main base.
Yep.
So, in 2013, I moved over to Germany.
Yep.
My wife's German, and we spent 5 years over there. We had a wonderful time.
Brilliant.
No, it was really cool.
While you're overseas, were you teaching, or what were you doing when you were overseas?
Well, so we got there, and look, I just thought I'd manage my business from Germany, and do all the marketing and whatnot. But of course, it's not that easy. And my wife got pregnant with our fourth child. It's pretty much as soon as we got there, and she's like, "Right, you've got to go get a job." I was like, "Oh. What can I do in a foreign language?" And so I jumped on, did a quick search of, some classes that I'm trained in, and looked those clubs up. And I just walked in and said, listen, I can teach that barbell class. I can teach that spinning class. I'm qualified in this. I'm qualified in that. And they snapped me up. And I thoroughly love that about group fitness, that you can go and teach even with just a few words. You can, if you're.
I was about to say, how is your German? Is your German fluent, or are you?
Well, it was rubbish to start with.
Yeah.
It was rubbish to start with, but I learnt, a few words like faster, slower, up and down, and left and right, and it's amazing what you can do with your eyes and a bit of body movement.
Yep.
So no, I loved it that group fitness was able to afford me a job, no matter how bad my language was, and also make friends too. So. I tell you what, the hardest word though in German, the word for down in German is up. So that's really hard.
That messes with your head.
Oh, yeah. So, spelled A-B, but pronounced up. And it's really, really confusing as an instructor. It took me a while to work out why they were going
sitting
down when I was or whatever. So,
yeah. Well, that's when
good fun.
That's when hand gestures come into play, where you just point and
go this way. Yeah, there's a couple of ruder things I accidentally said too in the classes. But, I learned as I went along.
Yep.
And it was great. I actually worked across a few clubs and taught classes and met lots of great people, which led to other fantastic experiences as well.
Yep, brilliant. So the what classes that you were teaching over there? What were you actually? You said there were like pump classes. Did they have? Do they have Les Mills over there?
Yeah. So, that's the first thing I did. I jumped on the Les Mills locator. I was like, look, where's the nearest club with a body pump class? And there was just one in my area. And he had only body pump, the only Les Mills program. And I walked in, I said, listen, I'm trained in other programs as well. And I think we could introduce CX Works. We could introduce this. I'm not trained in body balance, but I think it would be a great fit for your club.
Yep.
And let's get it going. So I really helped the Group Fit team launch CX and body balance.
Yep.
And recruit their people. And their group fitness, it was a fantastic club. But by far and away, spinning is king in Germany.
Oh, really?
Indoor cycling classes are by far the most popular form of group fitness.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know would be the short answer.
Yep.
But I do recognise the distinction between Australia and in Germany. People in Australia, for some reason, see spinning as an intimidating thing, something that's meant to be super hardcore and super high intensity and only for the fittest people.
Yep.
And you and I know that's not true, but there's that perception out there that spinning is super tough and only for the hardcore cardio freaks.
Yep.
Over there, two of my colleagues, spinning trainers, one was 71 and the other was 69 years of age. They were the instructors. Yeah. So they were an inspiration for me.
Definitely.
And it was really great to work with them. They had a lot of silver spinners or senior spinners that would they come for the low impact. So I think over there's not that perception that it's too hardcore.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the first point. The second point is that cycling culture is huge over there.
Okay. Yep.
So everyone's riding bikes in summer. No one comes to the gym for 3 months of the year, for June, July, August. They're all outside.
Yep.
And then they can't cycle for the rest of the year.
Yep.
And they all come into the studios for 9 months of the year and participate in spinning.
Aha. Okay. Yep.
So they do understand the health benefits. It gives you a great workout with no impact on your joints.
Yep. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So roughly how many classes would you have been teaching a week in spin?
Across corporate and clubs and the different genres, I was probably teaching between 10 and 15.
Excellent.
In winter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was funny. My favourite class by far was this private group of we became friends. They're a bunch of doctors and nurses, and we had this private group, and a couple of us were the spinning instructors that alternate, and it was a huge party every Thursday, and we'd all get in the room. It'd be about 50 of us in a class and rock out these amazing classes.
Yep.
And the other part of the culture, which took me a while to get used to, was that after a fitness class, in general, you'd all go and have a sauna together.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that took me a little bit to get used to, that suddenly, one moment you're teaching, a squat track and the next minute you're naked in a sauna together. So it just took a little bit to get my head around that. But that the sauna culture is fantastic over there, and the wellness aspect of their fitness industry. I think they're years ahead of us when it comes to understanding wellness.
Yep.
And we used to love these big we'd have spinning party, then we'd all have a sauna, and then we'd all go out and have beers together. So it was a very balanced lifestyle.
Yeah. Hey, on spinning, what? Let me ask you a question around the class makeup or music and that kind of stuff itself. If you were doing, you were doing freestyle predominantly.
Yeah, yep. I only do freestyle, yeah.
Okay. What type of music do you use and what sort of programming do you do? I ask because I'm a lot of the stuff I'm looking at on Facebook and social media at the moment for indoor cycling, most of it's coming out of the States. And there's a lot of coaching around Tabata-style workouts or that kind of stuff, and not so much a journey like what RPM is with that kind of stuff. What do you use? What do you prefer when you teach?
Look, I like to find and pick music that really means something to me and something that I truly love.
Yes.
And I write the choreo in relation to, that music and how it feels. Yep. And it's about grabbing those right songs and putting them in the right order to give yourself a great workout.
Yep.
As far as genres of music, I really love big guitar sounds and big rock, it's pretty cool going over there and smashing out some Spider Bait or AC/DC, and they love all of that.
Excellent.
And but definitely some big pounding fat bass with some trance tracks and stuff is also really well received.
Yep.
So I used to love what I used to do in that party class particularly was I would take my laptop, I would be converting MP4 files from my laptop, and I'd be using a sender receiver to send the sound, throw the sound to the sound system up the front, me, and I would use a projector to throw the images up on the wall. So I'd be playing the film clips, the film clips of the songs that I was singing. Putting out for the class. It was great. It was like a rock concert. We had lights and lasers. I've brought in, performers into my class as well. I was going to say, I
remember my days at Les Mills getting a video from, I can't remember if it was Annie or from you, where I think it was at Summit, where you had a live guitarist.
Yeah. That was before I left.
Tell me a bit about that. I remember bits and pieces, but tell us a bit about that.
Oh, well, I just love big rock and guitar sounds, and I had a mate who could play amazing guitar, and I think that was our 10th anniversary for Summit, and we were just looking to do lots of special things, and I was like, hey, Anthony, how about, we try this, you do some live guitar over my class? And he's like, yep, send me the playlist. I sent in the playlist. He said, that's the playlist of my youth as well. Let's do it. And we did that for a week solid to booked out classes. That was a whole lot of fun.
Have you still got that video somewhere? Is that somewhere we can access it?
Yeah, I've got something. It's on YouTube somewhere, I think.
If it's on YouTube, I'll find it. I wouldn't mind putting a link so people can actually have a look at it to get some ideas as well.
I'll see if I can track that one down for you.
I remember when it came through to the office at Les Mills, we all sat down and watched, and everyone was just going, that is cool. That's so different. That is brilliant. That was awesome. So
I think Anthony made me look good. It was very cool.
Excellent.
Yeah, but I brought that in overseas as well. So we were, sometimes I'd bring in, fire twirlers, but they would be twirling, laser balls or stuff like that. I've had saxophone player. It's
awesome.
These people wanted to party in their class. They wanted to sing and shout. They wanted to holler out and join in the fun. So any elements that we could add to that, we did.
Fantastic. I love it. Love hearing that kind of stuff. So did you do anything presenting wise while you're over there with cycle stuff, or was it just mainly teaching that you were doing?
No, look, it was mainly teaching, I guess. I was busy across those areas. In summer, as a side job or summer job, I was just working back in the aquatic industry, teaching swimming and coaching swimming and doing a bit of lifeguarding. So no, I didn't do a lot of presenting as far as that's concerned. I'm a little bit gutted. I said no to an opportunity to go back and teach to 400 people in 2019. And that was going to be our test run. We were actually going for the world record. So we had 400 bikes.
Yep.
I didn't go over for it. About 6 trainers smashed out an amazing 5 back-to-back classes, mind you. So 5 hours times 400 people.
Yep.
That's a lot of people through an auditorium.
Yep.
Yeah, and they were looking to take the record from Nuremberg, which was 600 bikes.
Wow.
And that is the total amount of bikes that this brand had in Germany. Yep. And to break the record, before we were planning this pre-COVID, we were going to be getting the same brand from France to bring over all their Expo bikes. Yep. And, we were going to put 1,000 bikes together, which would have been cool. That
would be amazing. The energy in that room would be tremendous.
Oh, it'd be so good.
Wouldn't it, what?
There's a pre-COVID idea for you.
Yeah. Wow.
So, unfortunately that didn't get off the ground. Cycling, I can't emphasize how much it is part of the culture over there, the spinning and cycling in general. And I mean, just from our area, we had, the German and the German mountain bike champion and the Tour de France leading German cyclist, Emanuel Buchmann. And, that they would come in and join in in our class up the front as guests. Yeah. Of course, that's not part of their training, but, as draw cards. So, a bit stoked. I've got a few photos with those guys.
Definitely. So when did you come back to Australia?
Got back here end of 2017.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So got back here. I'm always been the entrepreneur. So even though I had sort of 5 years of enjoying my group fitness and having a great time over there, I was still developing my ideas and looking at what I could grab and take and bring back to my club in Australia.
Yep.
So there was probably three main things that really got me excited over there that doesn't feature here in Australia.
Yep.
One of those products is called Fascial Fitness.
Yep.
And it's all about the myofascial lines in the body. And we also had some world-leading experts, not too far away from where I was living. And I did a lot of study under them and brought back this product, which was called Fascial Fitness. And Australians, a lot of this work Australians do with the myofascial stuff is a lot of rolling, I guess. People think of this foam rolling classes. That's probably one element of that style of class.
Yeah.
The other element, we would say that would be a fascial release. We would also do a fascial stretch and hold long stretches, sort of like a yin yoga. Okay. There's a lot of yoga fundamentals in fascial fitness.
Yeah.
The other couple of elements were quite interesting and a little bit unique. So the elasticity and tensegrity of the fascial stuff and working on that rebound of the fascia and how you can get a better jump effect or springing effect in your body and getting your body to move a lot better. So working on that elasticity and learning techniques to do that was really, really interesting.
Cool. Is that something you're still running at Summit at the moment?
Yep. I run that. A lot of people see it as a bit of a rehab class.
Yep.
It's I would describe it as it's a mobility class as much as anything else.
Yep.
With some major health benefits. You know, we're lengthening and releasing muscles. I thoroughly. It's probably the highlight of my teaching week is the Fascial Fitness class.
This is the Group X podcast.
That's cool. Yeah, from the years that I've been around and the amount of clubs that I saw during my Les Mills days and chatting to now, I don't think there's many that are still doing anything or are doing anything like that at all. I think that's brilliant.
No.
It's something that's unique, that's different, that is definitely is needed. I mean, it's something that I've realized, yes, I had a hip replacement earlier on this year, and it's, the training that I'm doing is still very different now to what I was doing 3 years ago. As we get older in life, you've got to look after yourself and do different things, and just lifting the heavy stuff and jumping on the bike and sweating my soul out. While yes, it's still good fun. These days, you've got to really do things to look after yourself differently. And seriously, if we were living in Lismore, I know where I'd be going. That's for sure. I'd be popping in to go, right, what is this all about? Show me this.
How can you help me with my hip?
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I think about 10 years ago, the Australian industry went through almost the militarisation of fitness, and everything had to be so hardcore, and everything was CrossFit and F45 and go kill yourself on a spin bike or whatever, where fitness and wellness is so much more than that.
Yes.
And the natural progression has to be for a movement back towards overall well-being and feeling good and moving well, rather than just worrying about how much you can lift or how fast you can run.
Yeah, how pretty you look at the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what else did you bring back? You said there were 3 things.
Yeah, so fascial fitness was definitely one of them. Another, what I believe is my absolute favourite group fitness product. I was so impressed by this product that I actually flew the master trainer from Germany to Australia to train my staff in this program prior to me coming back. And I still stand, it failed, but I still stand by it being one of the best programs in the world. So what I bought back was Body Art Extreme, or BAX, BAX. But it comes from the core product, which was Body Art.
Yes.
So over in Germany, Body Art is quite popular. And it's also not a gimmick. He's been that Robert Steinbacher is his name, and he's been around for 20, 30 years. With Body Art, has been around a long time. And actually in Australia, an old group fitness legend has bought the rights to the product, Marcus Irwin. Yes. So if you knew from the 90s, I think he was world champion sports aerobics dude.
Yep.
Anyway, Marcus I've been watching, I think, so Body Art is a great product. I saw Marcus and Lisa Westlake, another legend in the industry, try to get things off the ground at Filex. It certainly deserves a lot of success, that program, and I really hope that they can get it happening. We just bought the extreme version of that product here to Australia. Perhaps it was a little bit too extreme. But it's almost like a cross between, it's got yoga fundamentals, but it's got a lot of sort of animal flow, zoo movements.
Yep.
It's like the jungle meets yoga kind of thing.
Okay. Yep.
It's really cool stuff. So brought that back, failed, but it was good fun, and I'll stand by it as being probably one of my absolute favourite programs out there in the world.
Yep. I remember Body Art coming in when I was back at maybe it wasn't Body Art, maybe it was something else. Not Body Flat.
Body Art definitely deserves success. That I think the thing is that a lot of instructors get so used to being spoon-fed choreography these days that when they were thrown this a formula, sure, but then they still had to create and place together their own choreo.
Yes,
that created work for them that they didn't all enjoy.
Yeah.
So
some will say they didn't have time for. They were that busy with 30 classes a week that I didn't have time to actually. It involved a little bit of preparation, but have a look at Body Art. I think it's a great program. Yeah.
And then BAX, which is Body Art Extreme.
Yep.
Those guys know their stuff.
Cool. Cool.
So that was the second product. And I guess the third thing is largely what I'm doing right now, which is I'll just explain a little bit. I went in there as a group fitness instructor, and my boss was quite innovative, and he was like, listen, I've got this thing called EMS. You put this suit on, it fires up all your muscles, you do a few movements. It's like doing a couple hours in the gym. Yep. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, no, not interested. I'm teaching 10 to 15 classes a week. My body's already flogged. Yep. I believe in movement. Yep. Movement is fitness, not being in one of those suits. Yep. Not interested. Anyway, it took me about 3 months, I think, until I actually gave it a go. Within 5 minutes of putting on that suit and realising the capabilities of what it can do and the applications of this technology and the people that I could help with this technology, my brain just started ticking along, and I'm like, this is me. So from that point in time, I was very, very excited to get EMS back in Australia. Yep. So EMS, for those who don't know what EMS is, it's electromuscular stimulation. Yep. So essentially it is we put on a suit and we send stimulation through different parts of your body, and we can control how much stimulation we put through that suit to make your muscles contract. So what sort of workout can I do when I've got the suit on? Great for someone with a hip replacement. Yep. It's so you can do as much or as little as you like. So we could put you on a spin bike if we wanted to, but by and large, we do low impact movements. Yep. I might give you, for example, 4 seconds of stimulation and 4 seconds of rest. And in those 4 seconds of stimulation, you might perform a very nice, easy little squat for me. Yep. Or a nice, easy bicep curl or something like that. A lot of what we do is low impact style movements. What we do for people that have had, an operation or have got mobility issues is enormous. Yep. It's really, really exciting stuff. So what are some of the benefits that we get from using the EMS training system? Well, essentially what it is, 20 minutes in one of these suits is the equivalent to doing a couple of hours in the gym. Yep. And we can essentially what we've got is this muscle building machine. When you're doing a traditional movement in the gym, you're getting about 35 to 40% of your muscle fibers to fire up in a particular movement, whereas my suit will get you 90 to 95% of your muscle fibers activated throughout your entire body, not just the muscles that you're using in that particular movement. So the muscle contraction is something that you just cannot achieve in a traditional, gym style environment. Yeah. So as this again, I'm going to dumb this down for myself and some listeners. If I was doing a bicep curl and I'm wearing the suit, you could also be activating other muscles at the same time rather than just my biceps while I'm sitting there doing the workout. Is that right? Yeah. So we've got 12 channels. So you might have chest, traps, lats, biceps, quads, hammies. You've got 12 different areas where we're controlling how much goes through each area. Yep. We can actually choose by changing the frequency what style of muscle fiber we're firing up, fast twitch or slow twitch. Wow. We can choose how deep we're going into the muscle. Yep. So it's very, very specific as to what it can do. I like that. A lot. That's where at the moment, are there many places around that have got the system set up? Yeah, look, Australia. So I've got XBODY here in Australia, New Zealand, and we've got about 15 studios open here only. Cool. We've got 5,000 studios worldwide across 86 countries. Awesome. So this is absolutely huge overseas, and it is going to be huge here. Australia, New Zealand is a little bit one of the last areas in the world to take off with EMS. Yep. Probably the only city in Australia where EMS is relatively well known is Perth. Okay. I think Perth alone has got over... I think it would have over 30 studios in Perth alone, which is more than the rest of Australia combined. Wow.
Wow.
And it's simply because a European came over and went, hang on, where's the EMS?
Yep.
And predominantly the people I'm dealing with at the moment are people from Brazil or Israel or Germany or France that come over here and go, where's the EMS studios?
Yep.
I'm like, well, they're coming, and they will absolutely be spreading across Australia like wildfire soon.
Does it need to be its own standalone studio, or can it be part of a gym that's already set up? If they have someone that's going to...
a couple of different models. Yep. So like the gym I was at in Germany, it was a shop-in-shop model. It was a full wellness centre, and it just had a little corner of about 12 to 15 square metres where they did EMS.
Yep.
So that works very well, that shop-in-shop model. Our micro studio model is probably the most successful.
Yep.
We fit very well into that dead retail space of about 60 to 80 square metres. Very minimal equipment, if any, is besides the EMS is required.
Yep.
So it's literally do a nice little fit out, bring in the EMS gear, put in a couple of change cabins, and you're off and racing with a little fitness business.
Good. I'm going to throw a curly one, or I think it's a curly one anyway. If I had... I'm a gym that I've got my main group fitness studio. I've got my yoga studio that's sitting there that, is an empty space because it's just where mats go on the floor. And I've got my cycle studio. Is the fitness EMS system mobile in that I could move it in and out of my yoga space or not?
Yeah, well, so traditionally XBODY has always been, the kings of the studio and having a studio-only based device. But when COVID hit, like a lot of companies, we had to adapt very quickly. And in no time, they rolled out a tablet version, which made it very mobile. Yep. And so you're able to take that around a club or go and use the Pilates studio that's not being used the majority of the time, or take it to a park, train people outdoors when your gym's shut. So the mobile option was a lifesaver for a lot of studios around the world.
No, the reason I was asking, I just think, knowing from my days back at Fitness First in North Sydney where I first started, that yoga studio was dead. And when I say dead, in the morning, we had 7 o'clock time slots. It was great. Lunchtime, it was great. Afternoons, it was great. But during those say from 9 o'clock till 11:30, and from say 1:30 till maybe 4:30 in the afternoon, the space was empty. It was a ghost town. To me, something like that would fit perfectly well in there, and you could actually book people in to come in during those times for a workout. In that way, I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's an excellent secondary revenue stream, that income stream that, can make use of that dead space, which we all have, in clubs, there's spin studios or yoga studios that have got a lot of downtime that could be better utilised, that's for sure.
Yeah. So that's the suit, is it? I mean, this is going to sound silly, probably a very stupid question, but I'm going to ask it. It's not
stupid questions.
No, there are. Trust me. This is me you're talking to. It's not one size fits all. Obviously, are there different sizes? No. Is it? How does that work with the suits?
Yeah, mate. So we've got from like the equivalent of extra small, right up to extra large for all the different body shapes.
Okay.
So we do have the full range of suits.
And is it something that the user, as in myself, if I wanted to go to a gym or go to a studio that has it, do I buy my own suit, or is it a suit that is owned at the gym that I'm putting on when I go in?
Good questions. They're really good questions. So there's sort of a couple of different types of EMS. The best EMS out there are the ones that we call them wetsuits.
Yep.
So XBODY and a couple of other brands require you to go and put on some undergarments that we supply for you, or you'll sell to you. So undershorts and undershirt, nothing underneath that. Which the Australians took a little bit to get their heads around. The Europeans had no problem whatsoever. So no bra, no undies. Just put on the undergarments. Come out and we'll put the suit. We're going to wet down the suit and we're going to put that over you straight away. So you purchase your own undergarments for $50, but the suits stay in the club or the studio. Yeah, there are. So that's the top tier and your best EMS out there. You also do have what we call dry suits out there on the market.
Yep.
And that is where you do have to purchase your own suit. You don't have anything else underneath it, just the dry suit. The problem with that is that you have to start sweating before you get any effect.
Okay. Yep.
So there's definitely a whole range, of EMS out there, right from your Rolls Royce down through to your late night TV commercials.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
I like that. I think there is something big in that. This
market's huge. So
yeah, especially now with the restrictions and stuff, where any of that is still something that can be taken outside and still be used outside.
Absolutely.
Mobile.
And the world's been through a lot in the last couple of years, but global sales have never been stronger because people are moving from the mega clubs and they're staying more in the suburbs and they're looking for that more boutique studio experience. They've discovered that they like running and cycling and other things outdoors, and this certainly complements some great cardio work by giving you that resistance training and muscle build.
Is it something that a home user can get for themselves, or is it only available in a studio and
I do have a couple of VIPs that have their own setup. But we're sort of talking entry level $15,000.
Okay.
So it's not for your average home user.
Yep.
But there's certainly a couple out there that have it now. You'll see more and more celebs and sports stars take this on as well.
Yeah. Is it being used in like the Institute of Sport or any places like that at the moment?
I'm working on it in Australia. We're already training overseas. We've got AC Milan, Real Madrid,
Brilliant.
Rafael Nadal. Usain Bolt was using it. So we've got some mega names in sport. Our brand actually sponsors the Blue Bulls in South African rugby.
Okay.
And I'm looking to see if we can get some sort of sponsorship going here in Australia for one of the major sporting teams as well.
Awesome. Well, mate, all the best. I hope that does come through for you. I think that's fantastic.
Well, that's the sexy stuff, getting to the sports and whatnot. It is actually, your rehab stuff that I love, though. That's the bread and butter of this industry. And for helping someone with a hip replacement or a lower back pain or pelvic floor issues, we can help so much with those things.
It's something that I see that personal trainers could be able to use if they're in that sort of boutique environment and they've got one of these that would help deliver and cater to that personalised touch of that one-on-one training session in a big way. I think
absolutely, and it's definitely a nice point of difference that you achieve the results so quickly. So people love that it's only 20-minute session. You're only allowed to do it maximum twice a week.
Wow.
Because the DOMs from this are pretty big. And the results come very, very quick.
This is the Group X podcast. Now, are you going to be at the fitness show whenever it happens?
Well, I'm booked in.
Brilliant.
And then they've just put it back. So,
look, it will happen. I'm sure that will eventuate, and it's for early next year from memory, from what I remember seeing.
So March at some stage. We're booked in. I can't wait for whenever the first event is, and I hope that's it. That we get to go and to get everyone back together. I think the fitness industry needs a big group hug at the moment if we're allowed to do it.
I don't know how that happens socially distancing at the moment, but maybe it's just the Invisa hug that we can just throw our arms out and
oh my gosh.
But, so what's in place for Summit then at the moment? I mean, the news has just come through when we're recording this. The news has just come through yesterday that you're about to open tomorrow. You're in regional New South Wales and you're allowed to open.
I feel a bit guilty. My team's downstairs now getting it ready. No, we're really excited to be reopening. It just got announced yesterday that as of tomorrow you can open, but it takes a lot of work to get the centre and pools and
everything
things scrubbed
back
up, and we're building a new functional space as well.
Yep.
But by and large, we're incredibly excited about reopening tomorrow. We've got a new functional space that we're opening up. I've got a couple of new projects. I can't go into too much detail, Tony, but
that's fine.
We're working on. I wish I had it ready prior to reopening, but just the virtual fitness offering that we're getting in place at the moment.
Excellent.
We believe will be a wonderful, hybrid arrangement where the client can come into club, they can do a live class with an instructor, or they can do a virtual class in the club and get the full cinematic experience, because I love big sound systems.
Yep.
And it'll also give them a platform which they can take 5,000 workouts home with them as well.
Awesome.
So I just think that's going to be a wonderful solution and offering for our members.
Yep.
And I think most clubs that have a big group fitness following and offering would be and should be looking at this virtual fitness stuff as well, as a link to to everything that goes on in this world at the moment. That's all the good stuff. I guess the thing I'm worried about at the moment is this. How do I say it? The approach from the government at the moment seems a little bit oppressive and aggressive, and we've just learnt that we can only have vaccinated people in our club as of October 25th. So, what do we do? Do we open the doors tomorrow and say you can all come in for 6 weeks? But then as of 6 weeks' time, 20% of you can't come in. Sorry,
you've got to show me the proof that you've had 2 jabs.
I'm really disappointed that it feels inevitable that I'm going to be losing some rock star, just a couple, but a couple of rock star instructors that don't want to get vaccinated. I am really disappointed with the government that hasn't been left to, someone's personal choice. I'm pro-vaccination, but I'm pro-choice of people choosing whatever they want to do.
I agree
as well.
With you. I'm in the exact same boat as you. I'm getting it done for myself, but at the same time, if people don't want to, then they don't. It is what it is.
Have to.
It is. It's their choice if they want to go ahead and do this or not. And especially I think at the moment it's so unknown. Yeah, but we've never been down this before. And if I'm honest, I think maybe the government are doing what they think is the best, but is it really?
Yeah, look, I don't know. I definitely and again, I just watch what's been happening in Germany, and I much prefer their approach, which is you get vaccinated or you go do a quick test at a registered place within 3 hours of going out for dinner or going to the gym. Look, that's not easy. That you've got to go get a bloody test if you choose not to be vaccinated every time you want to go somewhere, but at least the choice is still there. And in Australia at this point in time, the choice is not there for me to allow unvaccinated people into my club, and that sucks. Because
in Germany at the moment, what are their cases like? And are they in restriction at the moment? How are things being done over there?
Everything's open. It's not the way it was. So if you look at, I think England and Israel really opened up, whereas Germany has opened up, but it's still, you've got to book in for a dinner, you've got to get a quick test or be vaccinated. It is, a process, and they are a little bit more, typically German and cautious about the way they do things. And I've got mates, it's sort of easier to go on holidays to Croatia than it is to book a table at a restaurant and go have dinner together. So it's not all back to where it was before. The clubs over there, like here, have suffered enormously. I'm just really concerned for our industry that, the economy as a whole has gone through hell and back for the last 18 months, 2 years. And now the government expects us to potentially turn away 20% of our members and staff. And that just doesn't feel right.
Is it 20%?
Well, it's worse in regional New South Wales because we don't have, like, I've got staff that say, Matt, we want to get vaccinated. I booked in December. This is mid-September at the moment. Booked in for December because all the vaccines went to Sydney because of the outbreak there. So it's not been widely available by any means. And that in itself is unfair. You may put a requirement by the end of October, yet there's been not the vaccination rollout to allow people to have that choice.
Do you think that it is 20% though of members that are going to decide to do it, or is it? And I'm only asking this. I'm not. Please, anyone, don't think that I'm having a go at anything here. I'm just asking to get knowledge around it.
I live near Mullumbimby, don't you?
Yes.
No, in all seriousness, I'm very lucky. I would say that my membership base is predominantly over 50, actually. And it's a more cautious age group that would be more compliant with vaccines.
Yes.
So, I think the uptake will be much strong, probably not over 90% of my membership base will be fine. And, out of my 40 staff, I think 3 are choosing not to have it. So, I don't want to say no to anybody.
No, of course not. I don't know whether, yes, obviously being in the industry, we're seeing a lot of stuff and a lot of it's on social media and a lot of people, and I just don't think social media is the right platform for it all to go down, but there's nowhere else. But I really don't know whether it is really a massive impact as in, I read this morning, some clubs are saying, more than 50% of my members won't be coming back. I'm thinking, how do we know? We don't know. Right now, we really don't know. I'm going to say a lot of those figures are probably people just throwing figures out, thinking, oh well, I know my members. Do you though? If the government is really putting a mandate in, and you've got a lot of people turning around saying, yes, I'm going to go and get this done. Yes, we know there's always going to be a certain percentage of people that aren't going to get the vaccination for their own reasons, and that's completely fine. But I don't think that it is 50%. I don't even think it's 20%. I'm going to say I think it's a lot less than that. And I think people are hyping it up at the moment on social media because we're all frustrated and we're all very, most of Sydney, or where I am in Wollongong anyway, we've been in lockdown for 11 weeks. And it's intense. Every little thing is pissing somebody off at the moment badly. And I'm wondering in my mind, is this something that is just being a bit blown out of proportion, We're preempting it and talking about it, but really what's going to happen as of the 25th of October is we're just going to have to wait and see.
I guess everyone is so emotional and sensitive at the moment, and we don't know. I do think your style of business and membership base would come into play. So, if I had a club that was, based on people in their 20s, then I'd be a bit more concerned because they'd be less likely to get vaccinated. So, look, it's going to be an interesting time, and we've still got a few rough roads ahead.
Look, I think we're coming out of restrictions and sort of lockdown, but without this being negative at all, I don't think it's the last time.
I don't think everyone should go out and be an online superstar, but I do think any club needs to be looking at their whole offering and looking at how they can incorporate technology to future-proof their business and to allow them to, pivot if need be to adapt to this.
Even have that membership for that person that doesn't feel safe to come in the gym. You know what? They may have their double jabs, but they still don't feel safe coming in because if we're going to be opening it up and anybody can walk in, they might not feel comfortable in training around someone that hasn't had their double jab. It may be that situation. It may be the opposite side of the coin. And I think you're right in that having a membership that caters to anybody, whether they can do something at home or in your gym, I think is almost the way of the future and what we've got to start looking at. And yes, we're not going to get it right the first time we do it. It's not going to be perfect the first time we put something up online. There's going to be times and there's going to be trials and tested period where we go, oh, hang on, that worked, or that was crap. I can't do that. I think that's more so where the industry needs to be looking at, as you said, to offer that hybrid offering for our members to make sure that we don't lose them.
potentially to the unvaccinated. So if they're not allowed
exactly.
into it, not just the anxious people, it's the unvaccinated. When they say, oh, look, I'm really sorry, I'm not allowed to let you in, but what we'll do, we've got this at-home offering.
Yes.
I've got 7 live classes and 1,000 other classes in my library. Here's one platform. It's all tied together. This is your, Summit membership. Online, digital.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I think all clubs will be looking more and more at that now.
Yes, definitely. Definitely trying to find something that they need to be offering anyway. Hey, on that, when you guys went into this, we all had the big lockdown last year, but this is the second time that you guys have been in restrictions.
Mm.
Did you offer or did you lease out any of your equipment for your members?
Oh, yeah. So, look, the first lockdown when everything went down last year, we rented out all of our spin bikes, all of our barbells for pump classes, steps, kettlebells, you name it. We put packs together so people could either come and hire a pump pack or a hip pack. And we recouped a little bit of money just to try and survive during that first shutdown. I haven't done it this time. We got shut down a little bit after Sydney, and we just haven't done it this time around because we expected it to be a lot shorter.
A lot shorter, yeah.
But every time, you think you're coming out of lockdown, they give you another extension.
Yeah.
So
How long has this one been for you guys now then?
Oh, look, only 5 weeks.
Okay, yep. But still, it's 5 weeks.
It's still 5 weeks, no income.
It's only 5 weeks, but yes, I was about to say it's 5 weeks of zero income, but you've still got bills and everything to pay.
Yeah.
Everything's still going through.
So I'm actually going to be lending or not renting, just giving my bikes to my favourite spinners for the next few weeks until we have the virtual offering in place because I don't know about you, but I can teach a pump class with a mask on.
Yep.
I can't teach a spin class with a mask on. No. I will fall off the bike.
Yep.
The amount of oxygen required to pump out a mega high-intensity class. The spinning instructors, we've decided that we cannot deliver it. To our expectation. So we've just put it off to the side for a while. We're just going to lend out our bikes to our favourite spinners.
No, I think that's a wise choice. You're still going to get engagement from those members. They're going to appreciate the fact that you've been able to do something for them.
Yeah.
We know what it's like as being an instructor as it is. You've got to remember your choreo, you remember what's going on. You've got to breathe. You've got to do everything. I had a lady yesterday afternoon, I think it was, that I was chatting to that bought a bike from us at Body Bike that said to me, hey, I just want to ask, as an instructor, do you guys fake it? I was like, I beg your pardon?
No, I've never heard of it.
I said, I'm aware of some instructors that sometimes do the air turn. I said, but, and she's like, I look at you guys and I think, wow, that's intense. I'm like, yes, it is. It can be very challenging at times. I said, there are days where you need to go, okay. But I said, most of the time, and I was probably say 95% of the time, if not more, we're pushing as hard as you guys are. And you're right. Try and chuck a mask on top of everything you're doing there. Oh, hell no.
It's a big ask. It's a big ask. So we will, I don't fake it, by the way. We will bring the bikes back into the club when we get the virtual fitness all set up as well. Yep. And until we can teach live classes in the spinning studio, we will just be offering, there are some fantastic digital, virtual fitness offerings out there for spinning.
Yep.
So we'll get those pumping, and the moment I can get back on stage, teach a few live classes for spinning, I will. But for the moment, we're doing other classes. Still got 40 odd other classes that we're enjoying teaching, and we also had our local area is very CrossFit, F45 style, boot camp style, go kill yourself workouts. Yep. We consciously made a decision when we reopened from the first shutdown to expand on our mind-body products and our mind-body offerings. We felt the world needed a bit more yoga, and we've really hired some super talents there and are doing really well. When every other club went zig, we went zag, and went much more mind-body.
Cool.
And fortunately, with the compulsory mask wearing in classes now, that's a lot more doable for a yoga style class.
Yes. Yeah. So what I know, I haven't looked at the. Look, I'll be honest. About 6 months ago, we rearranged our lounge room, and I accidentally, on purpose, unplugged the TV from the aerial because I got jack of watching everything that was on the news around this virus. Yeah. So I haven't really seen. I know that clubs have been able to open up, as you said, but what are the restrictions that you're allowed to? How many people are you allowed in classes? How many people are you allowed in the centre at the moment?
20 per class, which we're cool with. In our main studio, we marked out all the floor after the first lockdown.
Yep.
Normally prior to COVID, we'd have up to 25 in a class, but 20 is really nice and spacious. And we decided right from as soon as we did it, actually, we like this. Yep. Let's keep it like this. So we've kept it like that ever since. In the spin studio, we've just got 12 bikes now, just to space them out a little bit more. And the only disappointment, I guess, for us is aqua aerobics, because we've got a 25-metre pool that we sometimes have up to 40 or 50 people in. So that's capped at 20 at the moment.
Yep.
So, classes capped at 20. Masks are compulsory during classes, which we can handle. We've just culled a couple of high-intensity classes spinning and a couple other HIIT classes. Yep. The rest all stays.
So stupid question from me here. Yeah. Another one. God, I'm good at them today. Masks in aqua?
No, not a stupid question either.
It was a stupid question.
No, it's not. And you know what? The real answer is I don't know. But you know what? Some common sense has to come into play.
Yes.
And I know that masks aren't compulsory for swimmers, and they're not compulsory in a pool. Yep. So sure, but they are compulsory in group fitness. Now, a mask in a
Surely
pool.
in a pool, though. No, you can't.
It's a drowning risk.
Yes,
all right?
That's just what I was about to say. And that was why I was sort of asking it to sort of go, righto, what does the government say? You know, they're putting all these other stupid things in place. Is this something they've gone, no, masks have got to be used? But well, they haven't common sense prevails.
I might get in trouble for saying all this because they haven't actually come out and said, but you know what? Like, you've got to use your brain sometimes.
Yeah.
You're in a pool. No. I'm not putting masks on the people.
No.
So
all good. We can leave that one.
Aqua's more popular than ever now because that's the one class you don't have to wear a mask for.
Yes. It's just a shame. Shame you don't have a 50-metre pool. You're right. We're sweet.
I'd still be capped at bloody 20 though.
No.
And apart from that, everything else is quite reasonable. QR codes and sanitizing and cleaning. Yeah. They're all similar things to what we've been doing. I think that kind of stuff
we sort of adapted to pretty quickly and was where everyone was like, yeah, cool, okay. I think the QR code earlier this year, I started noticing. I've been scanning myself into wherever I needed to go since they said do it. You know, I was always looking for it, and you know, I'd get frustrated going to Bunnings on the weekend to get some stuff, my timber and stuff that I'm in the garage, and be standing there fiddling with my phone trying to scan in, and there's like 20 or 30 people walking straight past, and I'm like, what? When did this stop? When were we told to stop doing this? We weren't. So just keep doing it. And, you know, I've done it ever since. So I think for me, it's a normal thing of if I'm getting out of my car and going somewhere, the mask is on and my phone's in my hand. I think where most of the people are used to doing it and, you know, realize that the government isn't tracking you and, you know, they can track you in other ways if they really wanted to. You know, I think we've gotten through. But I think the next big thing is going to be, as we've, you know, sort of alluded to and as we're hearing, is that how is it going to happen as of the 25th of October? How are you going to know for sure that person has been jabbed?
I'm totally cool with absolutely everything, and I'm just grateful that we can open our doors again. As I've discussed earlier, I'm upset about the approach the government's taken, and in regards to the masks and all that, I would love to get back to the stage where we can wear our masks in and out of a facility, but just take it off during strenuous exercise because it is going to affect group fitness numbers.
Yeah.
Whether people like it or not. So everyone would, you know, it's just nicer without a mask.
Yeah.
And much more doable. So we'll just see how long we take to get back to that stage.
Yeah. No. Cool. Hey, one last thing before we wrap everything up. I want to know, is there anything that any challenges that you've faced that you want to share with anyone of ways that you overcome something and you think, you know what, guys, this is my words of wisdom that I can part you with?
Oh, geez, put me on the spot.
I love throwing curly ones at you, but if there's not, it's completely okay. I ask everybody that comes on, and don't feel that you need to either. I can always edit it out, but it's just is there anything that any challenges you've faced that really stand out that you want to share that someone may be going through that might be able to pick up some gems from it?
Yeah, look, I don't really know, other than I'm a big believer in life and just giving everything a go. And a couple of times in my life, I've spent time living in Germany and also earlier than that in Norway, and went to go coach swimming and teach group fitness in a foreign language. And that's daunting. And I guess it's important in life just to give life a go and don't be worried about making mistakes. I'm a big believer in, I'm not a perfectionist. I'm just a believer in let's just have a crack. Let's just say yes. Yeah. I remember in this whole EMS game, my original idea was to come back and set up a heap of studios. And my business coach said to me, well, Matt, why don't you be the distributor? And I was like, I don't know how to do that. I've never done that in my life. He's like, me neither, but let's work it out. So here we are. I guess to overcome obstacles is just to say yes, have a go, and work out the details later. Yep,
brilliant. I love it. It's a simple yet effective way of looking at things. So, mate, thank you. Yeah.
Well, can I ask you a question? What's the best bit of advice you've ever been given, Tony?
Stay in your lane and stick true to yourself.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's I'd say it to a lot of people, and it's I honestly cannot remember who said it to me, but it was one thing that has always stuck in my head. It's like, if you want to do something, go for it. Stick in your lane. Do you? Yeah. You do you. Yeah. Just go for it. It's either going to work or it's not. The only one that's going to make it successful or not is you. The only one that's really going to judge whether it's successful or not is you. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I thought about doing this podcast probably for the last year and a half. Yeah. Last year I sat down and I was really listening to a lot of podcasts, and that's what made me pull my finger out and go, right, you've got to do it. The first one I recorded was in February this year. It was shit. Yeah, it was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I just finished doing my voiceover course and doing that side of what I'm doing outside of working for Body Bike and outside of the podcast as well. And I sat down with a friend and said, right, I'm going to ask you, 10 questions. And we're going to have a rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you 20 questions on the first thing that come to your mind. Did it all and recorded it and sat down afterwards and went, that just sounds a piece of rubbish. There's nothing in that was me at all. I was this idea in my head of, right, that's what a podcast has got to be. And I've got to have the radio announcer voice and all this shit. And I was like, you know what? No, Tony, just be you.
Be yourself.
Just be you. Be 100% you. People are going to listen if they want to listen. If they don't want to listen, they're not going to listen. I'm not here to try and win friends and all that kind of stuff. This is me sharing a story and sharing a passion project that I've got to go, you know what, the voice in Australia of Australian gyms needs to be heard. Yeah, I want to get out there. I've got a lot of contacts. I'm going to use them. I've got people lined up that I've never met before, which I think is going to be even more interesting because it's going to put a different skill set to use that I haven't used for quite some time. Everybody that I've spoken to in the 14 I've done so far, I've known. So, I'm getting to that stage now where it's like, okay, I need to branch out. But it's, to answer your question, Tony, be true to yourself, do you, and stay in your lane.
I think authenticity is so important, and that's why you'll succeed as well, Tony. It's great that you've got this off the ground, and
thanks,
great to have a chat with you. And I love old friends and authentic people like you in the industry that I've known for so many years. It's it's great to see yourself and anyone just get up and be themselves and have a go.
Yeah, mate. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story as well. It's been fantastic sitting here chatting to you and knowing more about you and your story. And good luck for tomorrow. with the reopening, and I hope everything goes really well for you guys up there at Summit.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Great to have a yarn, and thanks for your best wishes. We're excited about tomorrow. Let's see what the next few weeks bring.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's it for this chat. Next week, I'm chatting with Ryan Hogan, CEO of Les Mills Asia Pacific. We discuss how he got into fitness, teaching in Mexico, Australian Fitness Network, omni-channel offerings, and what Les Mills are doing globally. Until then, stay safe. Chat soon.